Hello, booktube. My name is Aaliyah, and welcome to the Aaliyah Archives, where I discuss the philosophical musings of books and literature. This is my first upload, and I wanted to introduce myself to the booktube space and provide some information about me before I undergo this new creative journey that I'm so excited to go on here on YouTube. So why don't we get started? Question 1, why did you start this channel? I started this channel to create a journal that will document my thoughts and reflections about the books I read throughout my life. Books are a valuable tool for learning, and it will allow me to engage with books in a more meaningful way. I want to remember what I read, but also remember how these stories make me feel about the world and myself. For the past 5 years, I have drifted between different cities, a nomadic soul looking to anchor myself somewhere. And as I settle into my new home, I hope to build and nurture a stable community of like-minded people who enjoy thinking about books like I do. Question 2, what is unique about this channel? I am relatively new to the booktube space, but I've noticed a pattern in the content people are making, and if I'm being honest, I'm largely uninterested in it. There is a level of overconsumption, and I find that many creators don't actually talk about the books they're reading. And to caveat, I am not calling anyone out, but I believe we should be able to criticize the communities and systems we live in and under to make them better. I also believe books are mirrors of the world surrounding us. With that in mind, I want to make in-depth book reviews, social commentary, and character analysis videos. I have a background in psychology, and I would love to leverage my knowledge to understand the stories I hold so dear to me. Question 3, why do you love reading? Ever since I was a young child, I had a book in my hand. I have always loved to read. I love being immersed in different worlds that parallel our own, and it's so mesmerizing to see different characters and different worlds and stories be contained on literal pages of paper. I love the impact reading has had on me and my ability to relate to the world and others. Storytelling is the foundation of so many cultures and customs, and I have learned so much about other communities simply by reading literature. Question 4, what book or series got you into reading? I can't even fully remember. Funny enough, I remember my parents would take me to the library and I would choose 10, 15 books at a time and read them within a week. But I don't think a particular book got me into reading, but my family and community definitely had a major influence on my love for reading. Instead of being placed in front of a TV, I was given books to read, and I am so grateful for that, because I'm sure a lot of you in this community know American adults cannot read above, I believe, a 6th grade reading level, and so the literacy crisis is impacting communities of color the most, and that's something that I would love to address on this channel as well. But moving away from that, as an adult, some of my favorite books are The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez, The Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, and Chain Gang All Stars by Nana Kwame. Question 5, what kind of books do you like to read? I don't limit myself to any particular genre. I love fiction and nonfiction equally and for different reasons. I read nonfiction to learn about different cultures, like I was explaining before, and other social issues impacting us in our world. I typically read a lot of psychology and sociology books to heighten my knowledge and to inform my own clinical practice. And speaking more generally, I find that reading nonfiction, people become much more informed about the world. They're able to support their claims and arguments when having really serious discussions. And I think reading nonfiction makes you a more grounded and empathic person, which I'm definitely trying to be given the work that I do. And to tell you all just a little bit more about myself, I am a doctoral student in clinical psychology, but I have worked with formerly incarcerated people and survivors of crime for a couple of years. So I mostly read nonfiction to be able to relate to my clients, understand important issues that are happening in the criminal justice system, and just so that I'm a more grounded reader and more informed about the issues that are impacting not only my clients, but the world. Something important that I forgot to mention is I usually read books by authors of color to diversify my reading and celebrate cultures that are typically misrepresented or misunderstood. Question 6. What is important to you in a book? The most important thing about books is the prose. I love books with vivid prose and detailed imagery. I pay great attention to an author's writing style and content. For my fiction books, character-driven stories are important. As a writer myself, my characters are usually inspired by real people and interactions I have had in the past. So being able to care about the characters is crucial for my enjoyment. My favorite books tend to have morally ambiguous characters where I have to analyze their personalities and motives, which I really enjoy doing. And for my nonfiction reads, I look for writing style, obviously, and also the quality of the research or argument. The concepts and the content present within a book are important. And for example, if I'm reading a fantasy novel, I look for complex world building, interesting magic systems, and a cohesive plot. I am always interested in books that examine the human psyche or offer unique insights into the human condition. Question number 7. What challenges do you think you'll face? I think some of the challenges I will face will be captivating an audience given my busy schedule. I am a doctoral student, so my time is limited. And also, I think some of the content I would like to start making, I'm not really sure how it will be perceived. I want to make in-depth analysis videos like I mentioned before, and I know that short form content really thrives in the booktube community. So I'm curious how my engagement will look after I start consistently uploading. Outside of those two concerns, I think I'll be fine. And honestly, I'm just really looking forward to creating and editing my videos. This has been something that I have wanted to try for the longest, and I'm just super proud of myself for putting myself out there and really getting this journey started. Question number 8, what does your book collection look like? So behind me are a few of my books. There's a good mix of fiction and nonfiction here. My library is slowly growing, and I kind of have books all over the place. I have my pile here. I have some other books scattered throughout my room. I have books that are currently in storage right now, and I have a couple books on my Kindle. I will say I do prefer physical books. Something else to note is I do not buy new books. I stopped buying new books years ago, and you will often see me in the thrift store local used bookstores. Whenever I travel anywhere, I make it a point to go to secondhand shops so that I can find books that I'm interested in. But that's something that I stand very strongly on. I do not see the point and purpose of spending a fortune on new books when there are plenty of copies that already exist. Some of my most recent finds were Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Adichie, this really interesting one on the philosophy of education by Nell Noddings, and then a book that I'm really excited to read called Soul Talk, the New Spirituality of African American Women by a variety of different writers and poets. And like I said, I am a big proponent of buying books used. I do it not only to save money, but protect the environment, which is something very important to me. Question number 9, what other hobbies do you enjoy? When I'm not reading or writing, I enjoy watercolor painting, taking care of my plants, and I play video games on occasion, cozy games like Animal Crossing. I love going outside and spending my time in nature, and I'm really into fashion and thrifting. I feel like I have a wide range of interests that may appear on the channel at some point, but I usually spend most of my time reading. And that's the end of the booktube newbie tag and the video. Thank you all so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you consider watching my content in the future. I'm super happy to be a part of this community, and I cannot wait to start sharing my ideas with you all. Thank you so much. Bye.